shortest way, but it's not the easiest.
Hey YouTube, Film Geek here, and today I'm talking about the 2017 film Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. This movie was directed by Luc Besson, starring Dane DeHaan as Valerian and Cara Delevingne as Lorelei. Okay, as I said, this film is directed by Luc Besson. Some of you may know him as the director of The Fifth Element, also Lucy. The Fifth Element is one of my all-time favorite films and also probably in my top 5 all-time favorite science fiction films. Valerian, okay, not as good, but still enjoyable. The complaints I have about this film are very minor, but first let's get into some other details like what's this movie about? Well, Valerian is about a race that has been almost completely wiped out of existence. The Brotherhood of Planets have kind of covered it up because it's their fault. They don't want anybody in the universe to know that they accidentally caused the entire destruction of this race. Well, lo and behold, the race is not destroyed and they're out seeking justice. Alien race that has been almost wiped out is really unique. It's a very different take on things. There's like these pearls that they have, and the pearls have unlimited energy, and they're trying to find this conductor that can make them more of these pearls so they could get off of this space station and try to find a planet where they can rebuild their entire civilization. They do want the light to be shown on what happened to their civilization and how they were wiped out, but they're really not out for blood or anything like that. They're more wanting the person who is responsible to be exposed to everybody. So as you know, it is big box office bombs this week. So yes, this movie was a huge box office bomb. With a budget of over $200 million, this film comes in as the largest budget French film ever made. What killed this movie at the box office? Well, there's a lot of things. Some of the things that really hurt this film, number one, we have a source material that's not really well known. So while I've been talking about Valerian, did you also know that it was a comic strip in France? Caught it here and there a little bit. I wouldn't be what you would call an authority on the comic. I have seen it, I am aware of its existence, and honestly I was excited to see this movie because I thought, wow, you know what, it worked for Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe an obscure comic like Valerian. It didn't. It did not. All right, now this is actually quite a famous comic strip in Europe, 1967 to 2010, so it's not like it had a light run. This was a huge passion project for Luc Besson. He loved this comic strip. He used to read it as a child, and he always dreamt of the day that he could make this into a huge, big budget film. And he finally got his opportunity. Number two reason this movie bombed at the box office, we find ourselves at yet again bad trailer. If you were watching my last spotlight on Tomorrowland, I said with a big number one factor in this film's failure was the fact that the trailer really sucked. Well, so is the fact of Valerian. Now, I'm not saying the trailer sucked, it was just that it really told you absolutely nothing about this. You have a source material that is extremely unknown in the United States, and you give a trailer that is literally just special effects. It told us nothing about the film. I don't even think an actor spoke in the entire thing except for stuff like, whoa, stuff like that. I really don't think the trailer has a word spoke the entire thing except for trailer guy voice and oohs and ahs and special effects and stuff like that. So yet again, poor marketing destroyed this film at the box office. Number three reason that this movie probably tanked at the box office is the fact that they really had, I wouldn't say unknown talent, but up and coming talent. Both are familiar faces, but not quite yet to the level that they could possibly carry a huge budget franchise. Now, I'm not saying that big names would have saved this film at the box office, but I think that it would have drawn in more audiences if the actors would have been just a little bit more well-known. The fourth reason this film completely tanked at the box office, it opened the same weekend as Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk released the same weekend as Valerian, and we see who won that war. Valerian opened 5th in the weekend. It only grossed $17 million in the States on opening weekend. So ultimately, what did Valerian finally gross throughout all of it, when everything was said and done, when all the bills were paid? Alright, so a movie that is supposedly over $200 million budget-wise. No one knows the exact number, only that it's over $200 million. Now, it only grossed $40.5 million. Oh, that hurts. That just hurts. So those are the reasons why I feel that really killed that movie. Critics also kind of gave it a lukewarm response. It didn't get a lot of viewership on opening weekend. It was overshadowed. The week before was also Spider-Man Homecoming came out, and it was just comic book, superhero, sci-fi, special effects fatigue. So everybody went and saw Dunkirk that weekend. Now, what are my thoughts on this film? I like this movie. I actually was one of the few people that got to see it in theaters, and let me tell you something, this movie is absolutely gorgeous. It is spectacular. I mean, the detail, the CGI is ridiculous. Now, I'm not a huge fan of CGI. However, when it's done so well that sometimes you get lost in it and you completely forget that these are completely ghost figures standing in front of somebody, wow, I mean, it was really, really well done. And it really helped in the world building of it. It gave things this very solid feeling. So yes, the world that was in Valerian is extremely well detailed, extremely well done, and definitely worth a watch. Things I dislike about this film, it falls on the shoulders of the two lead actors. Unfortunately, Dane DeHaan really wasn't the right fit for this, or possibly bad direction. I've seen him in other films, he did a great job. Not a huge fan of The Amazing Spider-Man, however, he was pretty good as the Goblin. He's been in other things that I've really enjoyed him in, so I don't feel that he's a bad actor. I think that this kind of fell on bad characterization. And it could be a personal preference of my own. When I see the character Valerian, I always pictured some swashbuckling tough guy in the universe, and unfortunately he just does not fit that bill. Doesn't look like the universe's top-notch agent. He just doesn't seem like that kind of character, and he does this entire gravelly voice to the entire thing that is very fabricated, you could tell, and he's always just like, "Oh, Lorelei, I think I love you, Lorelei. Do you love me?" And then there's stuff like that. The humor also in this film kind of falls flat. There's some funny parts. Then there's some jokes that just don't land whatsoever. And even when I was seeing this in the theaters, people around me kind of chuckled a little bit, but the jokes unfortunately don't land very well in this movie. Other than that, this is a fun film. This is a definite solid C+ movie. You check it out for right now. This movie is available for rental on your services like Vudu, YouTube, your usual suspects, Prime, and I do believe it is definitely worth that $2 to $3.99 cost that it is. This is a movie that you'll enjoy and you will really be taken in by. I am not joking how absolutely gorgeous this movie is. So hey guys, here we are at the end of another video. Thank you again for watching The Film Geek. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as I always say, folks, keep watching movies, because you know I'm gonna.